baking in the oven, and the children just running by, or somebody just coming to macro a little bit. Man, it's Trinidad sponge cake. I'm talking about Trinidad and Tobago sponge cake. So I am going to be preparing a nice sponge cake for you on my show today. For those of you who are new to my channel, welcome aboard to Gail and Pierce Fini Show, where loads of recipe comes your way on a regular basis. Like, comment, share this video, and hit that subscribe button before you start viewing. So here we go with the recipe. Also, for my recipe, what I am going to be using today is some flour. So I have all-purpose flour, and this is 1 3/4 cups of all-purpose flour, right? I'm going to be using 1 1/4 cup of light brown sugar. You understand? Baking powder. I'm going to be using some baking powder. I'm going to be using 2 teaspoons of baking powder, right? And I have some spice here. You understand? We have some cinnamon spice. I'm going to be using some cinnamon spice, 1/2 teaspoon of cinnamon spice. Butter, softened butter. And you can choose whatever butter you want. This is Imperial, and it's softened, and it's 8 ounces, 2 sticks of butter. Right, we're going to be using some salt. 1/8 teaspoon of salt, just 1/8 teaspoon of salt. 1/2 teaspoon of nutmeg. 1/2 teaspoon of nutmeg, and this smells so good. It brings out that nice aroma in your kitchen, that nutmeg. You understand? Milk. You must be using some milk. And I'm going to be using today some carnation milk. I will just only use 1/2 cup of this carnation milk. And this lime here, I'm going to use the zest of this lime. Not all, probably half a zest. You understand? And some vanilla extract. 2 tablespoons of vanilla extract. So here we go with the recipe. So to this mixing bowl, what I'm going to do, I'm going to add the butter. So what we're going to do, we're going to do the creaming method right now. So you add the butter, 2 sticks of butter as I've said. And the butter must be softened, okay? You don't want a hard butter because it will just delay the process. So 2 sticks of butter. And to the butter, you will add the sugar. And light brown sugar. Some people use white sugar, but I'm not going to use no white sugar. So you could take a spatula, a wooden spatula if you want, whatever you have. And you sort of combine the sugar and the butter together until the sugar, the grains in the sugar sort of dissolve with the butter. So this is what you want done, okay? Enjoy the music in the background. I'm bringing to you Trinidad sponge cake as they used to make it long time. Alright, so when you put the egg inside here, everything is going to soften up. Don't worry. Everything is going to soften up. So now to the egg now. You're going to be using 3 large eggs. Okay? And you know, as I told you all before, when I'm doing my egg, I like to do egg 1 at a time. So I'm going to be whisking it until it's light and fluffy. So it looks fluffy already? You add this in here. Simple sponge cake. The reason why you want to crack the eggs 1 at a time is because if it, you know, sometimes you have a bad egg and you don't want to spoil your cake if you put a bad egg inside there, because you know you spend a little money in this hard time where it have people squinting and looking for money and stuff like that. Take your time, crack your egg 1 at a time, and then pour it in the mixture. So I'm going to be using just 3 eggs, 3 large eggs as I've said. And we're going to cream this with the sugar and the butter. So you add that in here. Right? And with your spatula, you keep on combining. Now, long time, they used to take this lime. Yeah, long time they used to just take a piece of lime. The skin of the lime, you just cut off a generous piece. You understand? Be careful you don't cut your hand. And you just drop it inside there. Drop it like that inside there. Right? And now what we're going to do, we're going to put the blender and blend up these bad boys. blend away. And now what I'm going to add to it is the liquid. I'm going to add the vanilla extract. Sponge cake, guys, coming from my kitchen. And I'm going to add some milk. I'm going to use half cup of carnation milk. Just half cup. And you keep on blending. Now you want to take your spatula and scrape off all on the side here. If you have a cake mixer, you could use a cake mixer. But I don't have a cake mixer, so I'm just going to be using what I have. So now we're finished with the wet ingredients. We're going to put the dry ingredients. Right? This is already sifted. The flour is already sifted. So add the flour. We're going to add the salt. Just 1/8 teaspoon of salt. Then we're going to add the baking powder. 2 teaspoons of baking powder. You want a level teaspoon, so you put in 2 teaspoons. You want it level, okay? 2 teaspoons of baking powder. And then you're going to add the spice, the nutmeg. And the spice. The cinnamon spice, you want to add half a teaspoon of cinnamon spice. And you keep on blending. And you want to make sure you scrape off the sides so everything will be combined nicely. We're making sponge cake in Andrea's Trini kitchen. Don't forget to share my video with family and friends, and certainly subscribe to my wonderful channel. Now we're gonna you see that I'm gonna take off this zest here, right? The peel from the lime. Because you're not going to bake that lime peeling in with the cake, okay? You have to take it out. So to this baking pan, you have to choose the size of baking pan, right? And I'm using a relatively not so large baking pan that could fit that amount of cake. So you want to butter your baking pan with a little butter. You get all the sides so that the cake don't stick. And long time what we used to do, we used to take the butter paper and we used to sort of put it in the bottom here, layer it nicely. You understand? Layer it nicely in the bottom. That is the old-fashioned way of making this cake. Alright, so let me wash my hands. And what I'm going to do next, I've already set the oven at 350 degrees. I just turned on the oven, so I'll wait until it heats up to 350 degrees. But in the meantime, I'm going to show you how this cake is. Look how light it is. It's just dropping by the spoonful. Your cake must drop by the spoonful like this. Then you know that cake will be a real nice cake. And you look to take out the peeling. You take out the peeling. Take your hand, it's okay. Take out the peeling. And we're going to pour that bad boy inside this baking dish. So here we go. Look how nice that's forming. Look how nice that forming. Now you have to remember when you are baking a cake, you have to make sure that in the oven itself, all the racks in the oven is at one level, so your cake won't be topsy-turvy. You understand? And you want it to be at the right temperature, so it will bake nicely. And you don't want to overfill your cake pan. You sort of 3/4 fill your cake pan, and just smooth it nicely. And you're gonna bake this until it is golden brown and it is well cooked, okay? So I'll be back with the baking of this cake. Now the oven is set at 350 degrees Fahrenheit. So I'm going to stick this cake in the oven and let it take its time and bake. Okay, so I'm going to be using the upper rack. Put it in the center and just close the oven and let it bake. And I'll be back when the cake is completed. See you in a little bit. Okay, I just took out the cake from the oven about 15 minutes now. It has been baking for 30 minutes. And this is the perfection of the cake. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to flip it over and gently remove that wrapping from the butter. Wow. Look how spongy it is. This is what you call sponge cake, right? So I'm going to gently rest it here. You see how spongy it is? This is what you call sponge cake. So I'm not going to cut into it right now, but I'm just letting you know how the sponge cake came out. It has to cool really nicely, and then I'll cut it and have some ice cream with the sponge cake. So if you like my video, just give me the thumbs up, okay? And share it with your family and friends, and please subscribe to my wonderful channel. This is your girl Andrea saying, see you again with another great video. Bye.